All right, I know this is a podcast a lot of people have been waiting for, and that is finally doing a podcast with Nelson all over. Now, hopefully, if you know me, you know him. He's a Marvel Champions board game content creator. He does Arkham as well, Lord of the Rings. He does a lot of Spirit Island right now, which has been really fascinating. He's been doing content creation a little bit longer than me. For those that don't know, Nelson and I kind of came up together. He started his channel really before I did, and he would invite me on Wednesday nights and we would stream Marvel Champions. And that's kind of how that got started. And I was like, well, I'll make a channel too. And then I did that. And then we kind of grew up in the industry together. And it was a really, really fun experience. And a lot of people ask, like, how did I become as big as I am in this space? And the reason is really because of Nelson. We were able to work together on a lot of things. We were able to create really good videos together, do a lot of live streams together, build a community together, do a lot. And we also were able to share knowledge of like, hey, this works, this doesn't work, whatever it may be. So that was the secret sauce. So really excited to talk to him about just life. That's what we spend most of this talking about, life and different things. And we don't really focus on Marvel Champions that much. Hopefully there'll be a part two and we can focus on it then. If you have certain questions you want me to ask him in the future, write them down in the comments. Let me know down below. Make sure to hit like, subscribe to any the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Player, whatever you use, Spotify or iTunes or whatever. Go to that player. It's D20 Woodworking. Hopefully you find me, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy this interview. Make sure to go check out Nelson's channel if you haven't yet. I guess first thing I have to mention, dude. Have you been going to the gym? Because you look good.
I appreciate it. I've been doing a lot of biking. Been
That's
doing a lot of
awesome.
cycling.
Have you always
Yeah.
been a cyclist?
I did it in high school,
Okay.
a good bit, and then through college and through like my first career, it just kind of I didn't find time for it, but it's been something I've been getting back into.
Out.
Like an indoor trainer,
Okay.
and so even when it's cold, I get to ride.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. We did that too. So like, I think it was during the pandemic. We bought a Peloton, right? Because we're like,
Oh,
oh, we're
nice.
going to
Yeah.
use this. Yeah, this is gonna be amazing. And then we got it, and we're like, yeah, this is great. And we put it in the basement, and then the winter came, and it turns out basements still get really cold in the winter, and you're like, I don't really want to do this that much.
Basements are scary too, so just there is that.
There is that. So, but yeah, we had that for a long time. We still use it, but we don't pay for the Peloton service anymore because
Okay.
then
Yeah.
we got like a regular gym membership, and then that was cheaper than just like a Peloton, and like I can lift things up over there and whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I got a trainer that I actually hook up my bike to, and so,
okay.
like, I take off the back wheel of the bike, connects it into the bike, and then it'll adjust resistances for you, and it, like, builds training plans, and it's really nice now. I actually a couple months ago, I bought a new bike, and so now I don't have to deal with ever taking the old one off the trainer. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so good
So wait,
stuff.
does it do it like? Do you have to like manually plan what you're doing, or is it just like automatically like figures out like what's best for you?
You can,
Okay.
but the way that I'm doing it is I set, like, a time/distance goal
Mhm.
and a date, and then it'll build out the training plan based on my previous performance and to get me to uh, that goal.
Okay. That's
And so it's
awesome.
just mindless. I just put on a projector. Right now I'm watching Severance, and I'm just like I spin and just, like, watch people get their mind severed. It's pretty great.
Is it a good show? Have you been enjoying it?
It's good. Yeah, I like it. It's really interesting.
Okay.
I think I'm like 7 episodes in, and I feel like the story I could have gotten the same amount of story in 5 of those 7 episodes,
Mm.
but I am still enthralled by it. So I like it's I think it's part of me just like wanting to find a critique of the show rather
Mhm.
than actually having a critique of the show. But no, I've been really enjoying it. It's really solid.
That's a funny thing too. So my wife, who you met, she's watching The Jackal, I guess, on Peacock, and it's just like I think it's based off a book because I've definitely heard of this before, and I've heard of this plot line, and I've never watched the show. But basically, like he's like an assassin, and like the British MI6 is after him, whatever, whatever. And she's like, it's phenomenal, it's phenomenal, phenomenal. And he gets to the end, and she's like, nah, I don't know, it wasn't that great. And I was like, what happened in one episode? I was like, are you just trying to judge it for
Yeah.
its one thing? And she's like, no, I just like it really fell flat and whatever. And I was like, oh, it's why like I can't do TV shows that much anymore, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's like 8, 9 hours, and then if it just like bombed, and if it's like 5, 6, 7 seasons or whatever, and that's like 30 hours of my life for it to just end poorly, like I've had too many heartbreaks to do that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the limited series.
Yeah.
If I could choose a type of content to consume, it would be the limited series over the movies and like the full-fledged TV shows.
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of kind of those 10 episode, 8 episode arcs or something that has established content and established improving content. Like I just started we're in season 2 of Silo right now, which
Okay.
is based off of the book Wool and then the subsequent books that follow it, and that's been phenomenal. That's been absolutely phenomenal. Another Apple TV. I think Apple TV has just been knocking it out of the park. The other one is Shrinking, which has been really, really good
Okay.
on Apple TV.
We did Silo. We did Silo a little bit. I feel like we did like 1 or 2 episodes, and then like life got in the way, and then we kind of forget what happens, and it's like, well, I don't want to rewatch it.
Yeah,
Like, can we
yeah,
just guess?
yep. Yeah, and then I'm a big Dexter fan. So
Okay.
I watched Dexter, growing up, and then Dexter, the showrunners just have a phenomenal, uncanny ability to just take an amazing series and just destroy it with the last couple episodes. So they did that with New Blood, which is kind of the follow-up, but then, as you know, as of now, there's 1 episode out of The Original Sin, which is a prequel.
Okay.
And the original Sin was so good. The casting was phenomenal. Like, they have, like, all of the characters that were in the original, but, like, their younger selves, and you, like, look at them, it's like, "Yep, that's Masuka." Like, that is the character, and then I was
That's
blown away by the
crazy.
casting. Yeah, it was good stuff.
I remember Dexter, I think was something again my wife watched and she didn't finish it. And she's like, "Oh, I should get back into it." And then I started reading reviews because I read reviews now a lot of things because I don't mind if things get spoiled, doesn't matter. And I saw how poorly it ends. And I was like, I don't know if you want to. Like, this is gonna go poorly.
Yeah, the ending of Dexter is up there with Game of Thrones, in my opinion, of one of the sadder endings of a TV show, of a great TV show.
I have never felt so much rage in my life than the last season. Like, I love Game of Thrones. I love the
Yeah,
books. I love everything. But I was deep in the lore of like going on to like, Westeros.com or org or whatever the message board site was. I was I was in it. And then I started seeing, even in season like 4-ish, when they started like kind of like things weren't going the way they should. I'm like, all right, I don't know how they're gonna get back over there, but whatever, maybe they'll figure it out. And like by like season 6, I was like, I'm just anger. Like novels the whole time is just like, what's wrong? I was like, this isn't right. None of this is right.
have you done Rings of Power?
We did one, or I'm sorry, I did 1 episode, and I was like,
Okay.
no, I can't do this. And then novels did, I want to say like half the season before she was like, like it looks cool, and I really
Yeah.
like the people, but she's just like, I just can't do it. She's like, it's just not good.
Yeah. I was at a we do like a Survivor watch party every week.
Okay.
Finale was last night, and we were there. We kind of on the finale, and then the opening night we do like a dinner beforehand and stuff, and we were talking. Apparently, season 2 is much better than season 1, which I had already forgotten that season 2 was out. That's how much I do that out. But apparently season 2 is much better, so I think I'm gonna give it another shot. But like you said, I love the visual aspect
Mm,
of Rings of Power. I thought,
yeah.
seeing Casa Doom in, like, just, like, the the, uh, the stylistic choices that they were making there, just seeing all of the characters that we know and love, but then the storyline was a little tough, but the seeing it all was really cool.
Yeah, that was the big thing. Like, and again, like Amazon can like throw money at things and it's cool and they do a good job with it and whatever, but like you still need good story. I feel like they're just
Yeah.
missing that. I feel like they had a show that we watched that wasn't terrible, and now I can't remember because we were thinking like, oh, Amazon shows aren't trash, and this was
The
like a few
Boys?
years ago. The Boys was good. We watched the first season. The Boys really liked it. Then the second season was really slow and we were like, I just can't keep up with it. And then I've heard like depending on if you don't mind the politics, if you don't mind like the meta ness of it, then it's good. But then it isn't. I don't know. I'm just like it's again it's so much time, dude. I don't have this. I like
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
movies, and that's it.
yeah, yeah. Do you have a favorite movie or favorite movie genre?
All right. So genre would, I mean, like I like the old school comedies. Like I like Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell and all of them, Chris Farley, Chris Rock. Um, So I like all that. But then there's like, it depends, man. So like, if it's personal favorite, like My Cousin Vinny, I still think is one of the greatest movies ever made. That whole movie is just a giant quote. Like it's so good.
I
Um,
haven't seen it, so
okay. Um, we can end this podcast now, and you can take the rest of the time you committed to here and start watching that movie. It's phenomenal if you can watch it.
yeah,
It's
nice.
Marissa Tomei at her best. It's Joe Pesci at his best. Just the whole supporting cast is phenomenal. Really good. Highly recommend. So that's good. Um, and then as far as like quote unquote regular movies that I like a lot, like I mean I grew up in like Terminators, so I always liked like Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. And like I recognize Terminator 3 and onward is absolute trash. But like, when somebody watches like reality dating show trash, like this is my trash. So I understand.
Right,
I understand why they're
right.
addicted to it. I'm addicted to this, so I get it. So I don't know. That's there's a lot. Like I also like all the classics. Like I'm looking like Casablanca and Braveheart and whatever. And like I like all of
Mm.
them and whatnot. So, what about you?
Oof. I'm a good I go for the thriller, not necessarily like jump scare, but like the
Mm.
psychological thrillers. That's where I like to live.
Like
Um,
Seven and like
yeah, stuff like that.
yeah,
Seven, Memento,
Memento's a good
uh,
one.
uh Primer broke my brain for like
Prime, yeah.
3 years or so. I'm still trying to figure that one out. I remember we watched that in college, and then we, like, commandeered all the whiteboards to try and figure it out. We're drawing out timelines on the board and stuff, so I really enjoy that. I did just complete my homework that Chad gave me last Monday, and I watched Die Hard for the first time. Um,
Wait, what? you
I don't know, I just, like, a lot of these classic movies just eluded me for some reason, but yeah, so I watched Die Hard for the first time.
so you now recognize why it's the greatest Christmas movie of all time now, right?
Oh, 100%. It's
Okay, good.
1,000% a Christmas movie. It follows the exact formula of all the Christmas movies out there, they just
Yeah.
added guns to it. Like that yes, like it's a
Yes.
Hallmark Christmas movie with weapons. Like
That was my biggest argument. When people say it's not a Christmas movie, I was like, take out all the explosions, show me where it's not a Christmas movie. Like
yeah,
just because there's explosions doesn't mean it can't be a Christmas movie. I think
yep.
more Christmas movies, like It's a Wonderful Life, would be better if there was a few more explosions.
Yes, yeah. Put explosions back in Christmas movies. This is a bandwagon I can hop on. Like, let's do
Yes.
that.
Let's start this. Let's protest Hollywood, I guess.
Yeah, they'll listen to us.
Yeah, yeah. They'll be like, oh, these C tier ranked Marvel Champions content creators, we can't lose them.
Oh, yeah.
But wait. So now I gotta know, like, what other classics have you not watched then? Like, I
I
feel
my
like
go
there's a lot now.
Yeah, my go-to is Titanic.
Ah,
That one has been spoiled for me, so I do know what happens.
the boat
Um,
sinks.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was shocker.
Ruins everything.
So if you know the ending, why watch
Why?
it, right?
Why bother? Right?
But yeah, that's kind of my go-to. If we're doing like three truths and a lie or two, whatever. Like
mm,
that's a good one because everyone's like, of course you've seen Titanic. I'm like,
who hasn't? Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good one to
so
miss though. Like I remember watching that when I was young. Cause like, it was like all the rage and whatever. I was like, okay, like I'm young. I don't really understand things. I like explosions and I like to laugh and I like fart jokes. Like this is my
yep,
life.
yep,
And then I watched it again after college because I'm like, oh, surely I missed something. And I like Leo in a lot of his movies, right? With Inception and whatever. Like, so I'm like, I
yeah.
like him as an actor. And I rewatched it and went, this isn't very good. like it's not bad, but it's like it's not that good. Like I don't
Yeah,
know. I think I
yeah,
just put it on the pedestal, I guess, and I just like had it way too high up. They're like, oh, surely this is gonna be a cinematic masterpiece because it's Cameron that did it, right? James Cameron, I think, was the director. And if so, like I like Avatar. I mean, it's basically blue Pocahontas, but I really like it. I like Pocahontas, so it's just. But no, didn't do it for me. I don't know why. Oh
yeah. That being said, the one thing that I have consumed from that is the "My Heart Will Go On" Celine Dion. That's
my god.
incredibly good.
It it is, but in elementary school or middle school, I don't know which, when you had to play the recorder still, we had to learn that song and play it for a concert. Not once, but twice. We did it
Oh,
back to back years. And now I don't when I hear that song in my head, like most songs, like you'll be like, oh, I want to think about whatever song, and you hear a song. I don't hear Celine Dion's voice. I hear my recorder and that
nice, nice.
annoying high pitched tone. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's funny. You do it twice in a row. Was it the same school, same teacher, everything?
Same
Jeez.
everything. He loved it. He loved that song. And like I get it. I love Celine Dion too. She's amazing. Masterpiece of a song. I recognize that. But bro, we are like 7 years old and then 8 years old. Like we're not like we're listening to Kids Bop. Like, come on.
Yeah, Titanic soundtrack is what the elementary school kids crave. We all know that, but honestly, going back to back years like that makes me feel like he was just like, "You know what? I think I could get away with this and not work." Like, that
It was either that he wasn't that old, but maybe Alzheimer's. I don't know which because I didn't have him
Yeah.
the next year, and it would have been interesting to see if like it was back to back to back, and all the parents were like, do we need to ask questions?
I had a math or calculus professor in college that was older,
Mm,
and his teaching style was, the tried and true method of just, like, write stuff on the whiteboard and not talk to us,
mhm.
and so he but I distinctly remember him writing, like, the proof down. He would get to the bottom of the whiteboard, and then he would rewrite here what would like, in the next column, and then, like, take a step back for 15 to 20 seconds, be really confused as to what he changed and not changing anything. We're just sitting here like,
Ugh.
"What's going on? Like,
Yeah,
let's move on. This is kinda boring." So,
yeah.
teachers are fun.
They are my high school math teacher. I love the guy. He was so good. I never was good at math. I never liked math, but he made it good and enjoyable. And weirdly enough, I had him all 4 years of high school. I don't know. Before anyone in listening to this is go like, oh, D20 failed math 4 times in a row. No, you have to pass 4 years of math. Okay, I passed.
Yeah.
They called it different things. It was like algebra, geometry, pre-calc, and calc or whatever it was I took. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so I had him all 4 years, and like he just kind of moved up with our class. So anyway, great teacher, absolutely loved him. And I remember later on I was talking to my mom about it because they still do like back to school nights or parent teacher conference, whatever they call them. And I was telling her about him. She's like, "Oh, the teacher that was high all the time." I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh, he was high all the time." I was like, "No, he wasn't. He was just kind of like out there a little bit and a little glassy eyed. Like he had itchy eyes. Like that's fine."
Just vibing. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. It was just whatever. And then I ran into him like 10 years after graduating. And I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, he was like, "Oh, how's it going? Whatever, whatever." I was like, "I have a really weird question for you." And he's like, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" I was like, "Were you high when you taught us?" He's like, "When did you graduate?" And I told him. He's like, "Oh, yeah."
Nice.
And I was like,
At least he
"Oh,
owned
okay."
it.
Yeah. I mean, he was
Yeah.
just like, "Whatever." He's like, "What are you gonna do to me now?" Because I think he was either retired or retiring. I forgot which. Um, so he's like, "I'm done. Like, what are they gonna do? They can't take away my pension." So and I was like, "Well, yeah, that's cool." I mean, I told him too. I was like, "It's the only time I felt like I really learned math. So I guess you
Yeah.
did a good job." He's like, "Wow, really?" He's like, "Cool." It's like,
That's
"Jeez."
awesome. I had a teacher that didn't follow me, but I followed a teacher through college because I went to a very dedicated, like, math and science school,
Mhm.
and they required us to take, I think it was, like, 6 classes that didn't have math equations in them. Was basically what it was, and the the teacher that I followed taught, like, geography, and I'm just not good at geography,
Mhm.
but I love the teacher. He had, like, the most fascinating stories, life experiences, and it was just, like, really cool. It turns out, like, when I graduated, I was, like, 6 credits away from, like, a geography minor because I'd taken so many classes with him, but I was just like, "If he's teaching the class, I'm signing up for it." So
Yeah.
I feel like I learned a lot, maybe not like where things are, but I learned a lot about kind of history through his experiences, and just like a teacher that is passionate and can connect with the students like that, like, does a lot
Mhm.
for learning because you're like, "Oh, I actually like care about this. I want to learn about this more." And so, yeah, it's fun to have teachers that aren't necessarily like that stereotypical like good teacher, but
Yeah.
sometimes you learn more from the teachers that are not that.
Well, yeah, and what's crazy too, like, because like as I've gotten older, and I obviously have a child now, so it's just like okay, now I care about teachers and whatever. But there's so much truth to that in the sense of like how much good teachers affect things because I in fifth, sixth, seventh grade, I was in one school district. And I mean, I don't think I was failing school, but like I was barely passing. Like they were rounding up a lot. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And so seventh grade, we moved from one school district to another. And I remember in seventh grade, I was just like, I'm not getting any of this. Like I remember I moved with like C's and D's. Like I just absolutely terrible, like in every single subject. And I went to the school district I went to was, if anyone's in from New Jersey, they'll know it's Bridgewater High. Bridgewater High was massive. So there was the old high school became the middle school because I guess birth rates declined or whatever. So it was a massive, like sprawling campus. So it was a big mess, and like they had that mentality of like they treated you like high schools, even though you're middle schoolers, and like you're dumb, and they really shouldn't give you any responsibility because you're
Yeah.
not smart
Yeah.
enough for any of this. So anyway, and then I moved to a much smaller town west side of Jersey, and it was like a K through 8 building, right? And like the
Okay.
building's a little bigger than my house. Like there's barely any kids there, right? It's really small. But anyway, the vast majority of my teachers there like actually cared and actually like
Mm.
talked to the students. And like if you didn't get something the first time, they weren't like, meh, not my problem. I taught it. I'm done here. They were like, well, what don't you get? Like, come see me after school. Like you had to do the work still. Like, yet, like I remember I
Sure.
spent all the time like during lunch and after school, like working with them, whatever. But I went from like failing to like the same exact subject matter. It wasn't anything really different we were learning to like a B student, some A's. And I was just like, it's amazing like when teachers kind of care a little bit and like are willing to like work with you. Cause I remember my old school, I was like, hey, can I just meet you during a free time or during lunch? Like, why would I waste my lunch on you? And I was like,
Ooh,
touche, I guess. Yeah.
it's a tough response.
It
Ow.
was. I was like, I'm like 11. Like, I don't need these life lessons right now. But that's what they were. And that's not, again, it's not all teachers. But I know some people have bad teaching experiences. They're like, oh, all teachers are terrible. And it's like, no, just your teachers were terrible. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. A good teacher is really important.
Mm, mm,
I think probably the reasons that I didn't do so great in those geography classes, we would have like the quizzes where you had to like, place the cities on the map and everything.
mm.
And I justified um my playing of Pandemic the board game as like, "Oh, I'll know where the cities are because, like, it's all cities on a map," and that
Uh,
did not help at all. And it turns out that if you actually look at the Pandemic board, the cities, which is probably obvious and probably should have been obvious to someone who's pretty close to geography minor, that the cities on the board are not where the cities are actually. They have a little line that points to where the city is in, like, on the map, and so, like, I was putting Karachi in the completely wrong spot on the map. I was like, I did not do well on those, and I was like, "Maybe I shouldn't be playing board games to study for for my test."
it's
But
worked out fine for you, I think. 'Cause
yeah, yeah. I
now,
got the passing grade at least.
I mean, I'm just gonna, if anyone's young listening to this, and I know my demographic, you're all 40 plus years old, so there's no one young. But let's just say there is. When you get into the workforce, my boss has never asked if I got an A or a B or a C in the class. They do not care. Passing is passing.
Yeah. We would always say, because I did a lot of hiring at my old job,
Mm,
the GPA gets you your first job. After that, leave it off if you want to. Like, it does
yeah,
like, if you have work experience, I didn't care about your GPA at that
yeah,
point,
no,
and
yeah.
as a hirer, I did not care about people's GPA other than it was a checkbox that I had to click.
Oh,
I I fought HR so hard at the old job for I think our cutoff was like 3.0 or something, and I was like, "Okay, this is a 297, this is a 3.0." Like, if they
yeah.
wanted to round, they could have, and we would have accepted it. It was just, like, so frustrating.
Dude, corporate America is the worst. I hate it. Every day. I hate it more and more. And like
Huh.
my corporation isn't even that big, and every day I'm just like, I don't even know how I feel about small business anymore. And that's not true. I love small business, but like
Yeah.
every now and again, I'm just like medium size. I think they're a C corp, and I'm just like, God, you guys are just like terrible. And it's funny. So, obviously, well, not obviously, but I work for a media company. And you and I are obviously in the media industry as well. We're entertainers, performers. We make money doing this. Like we have, profit margins and whatever, or I do, and it's always not good. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't have to worry about that. But anyway, my my coworkers know of that I do something, they just don't know what it is, right? So they because
Yeah,
I don't need them knowing like right now it's a work day and I'm doing this instead of what I should be doing.
right.
So I don't need them knowing that stuff. But anyway, they know I do something, and every single time like our CEO comes on, like we our numbers for like all of our media stuff like continue to drop like a rock. And they're like, we don't know why. And I was like, have you thought about trying this? And I'll just like, introduce things that I've done that I know work. They're like, that wouldn't work. I was like, it might. Just you might want to trust me on this. They're like, no, what do you know? And I was like, I don't know, but I might know something. And they just refuse to. And my boss, like, she tries to push things through, and like you just run into like basic kind of what you're saying with not even HR. We run into the social media department and the website department, and
Mm.
they do not want to do anything. They do not want to do anything. I'm like, have you heard this thing called YouTube? They're like, yeah, we know of YouTube. I was like, okay. We have a lot of videos on our website. Yeah, we sure do. Why don't we put those on YouTube? Well, why would we do that? Well, it's like a really big search engine. Like it's like the second biggest search engine out there behind, Google. And Google uses a lot too. Yeah, but why would we do that? We want people to come to our page. I was like, I fully understand that, but they're not going to come to our page if they don't know who you are. They're like, yes, they
Right.
will. And I was like, okay, I guess we're done here.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I've said what I need to say.
Yeah.
Y'all keep doing what you need to do.
Yeah. And they're like,
Uh,
every single time, they're like, I don't understand why your audience is decreasing. And it's like, I've told you.
yeah.
I told you why. It's like, it's not rocket. The stuff we do is not rocket science, but
Yeah.
okay.
Be entertaining and put it on YouTube.
Put it on YouTube. Well, it's funny too because I told him a while ago. Like if you read any of like the like Pew Research reports and stuff, corporate media, like its trust levels are below that of the United States government. It's the first time anything's been below the United States government, which should be rock bottom. But okay, so that's how bad corporate media is. But media with a personality does really well. So, for example, like
Mm,
your channel that does news, or mine, or like Villain Theory, or whomever, like because they know who it is, right? It's not like
right.
the brand D20 Woodworking. Who knows who you'll get and who's actually pulling the strings? Like I'm pulling the strings. Like you know exactly who's pulling the strings. It's this guy,
Yeah.
and you can connect better with that person. And I've told him that. I was like, look, when we do news and stuff, it needs to be done because we do like a podcast every now and again with like news and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but we do it as like a brand. It needs to be done individually. They're like, no, that's dumb. I was like, okay. Like, Philip DeFranco is really big. Like, I don't
Right.
really care for it, but he's massive. Like,
Mhm.
that's not, he's almost as big as like CBS. That's not a mistake, right? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. People want to associate with personalities, and I think
Mhm,
that's even more true as we've kind of come out of the post-COVID era where like people were isolated for so long. And so yeah, connecting with other people even through like a screen, I think is
mhm.
just hugely important. And yeah.
Yeah.
I don't yeah, it's like I don't wanna listen to someone I don't think or know who I'm interacting with either. Even if it is kind of not necessarily I don't know them personally, but I
Mhm.
know of, "Hey, okay, it's D20." Like, I can put a face to the
Somewhat know
name
him.
and, like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, so
Yeah, that's why I agree, and that's why I think personally. I mean, you've been doing podcasting for God knows how long. I feel like ever since I've met you, you've done podcasting, in some venture or another. But I think that's why like that space. I mean, you look at the numbers. Like video obviously does well, print continues to go down, websites kind of stagnant, where but podcasting numbers keep going up, and I think it's because it is one of the few mediums where like it's expected that like you're going to get to know the person that's talking, right? So like then
Mhm.
you build that connection and whatever, and then you trust them or you don't trust them. Maybe you're just like, man, this person's full of it. I'm not listening to D20 anymore, and that's fine too. But at least you know that now, and it's kind of a crazy medium.
Yeah. I used to do and when I say do, listen to a lot more podcasts than I do now.
Mm,
Um I don't know why I kinda stopped. I think, like, that's starting to go back up, but most of the podcasts that I listen to are more dedicated to, like, specific niches. I used to
okay.
do a lot of news podcasts, and
Yeah.
then that just kinda got depressing.
Yeah,
Um,
it will.
I was like, "Oh, this just makes me sad. Maybe I don't wanna do this." But, like, I listen to, Star Wars Unlimited podcast,
Mhm.
or I listen to, like, Darknet Diaries, which is, like, a crime cybersecurity podcast, and it's like,
That's
I
awesome.
know nothing about it, but it's, like, fascinating, and, like, the producer is just so good at telling a story and, like, interacting with the guests, and it's just such a cool medium
Mhm.
to hear about something very specific, and I've said this, for a long time now, but I don't necessarily care what it is I'm listening to, but I love listening to people who are good and passionate talking about what they are good and passionate about. Like,
Yeah.
I will listen to commentated video games, and I don't even like, I watch commentated Overwatch. I don't even know how to play Overwatch, but I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. They know what they're talking about." And, like, just
Yeah.
hearing the strategy discussions or chess, right? I like
Chess is a good
I
one.
I can tell you, like, the first move of some openings, right? Like, that's about it. That's where my chess knowledge stops, but watching commentated chess, I'll watch chess streamers, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, it's just cool." Like, so and I feel like that's also where podcasts can thrive because a lot of podcasts are so specialized, and
Mhm.
so people kind of get into this rhythm hosts get into this rhythm of, like, learning more and then becoming that expert and then being able to convey that really, like, clearly to their audience, whereas, like, if you try an umbrella, it gets even harder to do that, so
I watch, oh god, I'm gonna butcher his name. Is it Hikaru? Is he, like, the top US
yeah,
guy?
the yeah, yeah,
He's
the
really
streamers.
entertaining. He's really
Mhm.
good at it, and
Yeah.
you're right. Like, during the pandemic, I got big into it. When, Levy, Gotham Chess, like,
Mhm.
his shorts kept popping up on my
Yep,
feed, and I was like,
yep.
"What's this guy doing?" And then I started watching, I was like, "Oh, the Rook! Yes, I love
Yeah.
it now."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm big fan of Gotham.
Mm.
Um, it's funny, my brother actually, for his career, teaches after school chess, to,
Mm.
like, elementary school kids, and so, like, I then will then take some of the stuff that I learn and talk to him about it, and he's just like, "Yeah," like, and so we get to connect in that area where he's, way further down that
Yeah.
path than I am, but he can explain it to me who has, the elementary school knowledge of chess. He's very adept at that.
Do you play a lot of chess still?
No, gosh, no,
Oh.
no.
I play on my phone because like, I sit in a lot of work meetings.
Yeah.
Corporate America, it's just work meetings. So I just sit there and I have, like, the whatever subscription, so I'm just, like, going through whatever, and I was getting really good, and then I started playing people that are really good, and then it was like, boom, nope, right back down to, like, medium bottom is where I am, like, my real safe space down there, so I work my way up and then just get dunked on.
I did that for the Pokemon app, the Pokemon TCG,
Mhm.
where it was a couple of years ago at PAX, they had a learn to play for Pokemon where you would go in, they would teach you, like, 3 mini games to teach you the mechanics of the TCG,
Okay.
and then as you left the booth, they gave you, like, you got to choose your starter Pokemon where it's like a
That's cool.
little, like, 30 card mini deck that kinda,
Yeah.
like, synergized, and I was like, "This is awesome," and so I got super into it, I started playing on the app, and the app has a really cool, like, AI, like, leveling
Mhm.
progression system, and I was like, "Yeah, like, this is so cool." And then I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna try my first online game." And then I went and, like, the first Pokemon that the guy put out defeated my entire like, took all 6 of my prize cards, like, "Well, I'm never doing that again." Like, I deleted it. I was like, "That was dumb." Like
I have, like, I open Pokemon packs for fun and sell the cards and whatever, and, fun of the codes in the back, I opened some of them, and I was like, "Okay, so I'll make a deck or whatever on the app," and I did it for a little while, and I was doing okay, but then you get these people that obviously know what they're doing, because like, mine is just, like,
Mhm.
6 random Pokemon that I think are cool and whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and I mean, he just dunked on me. I'm like, "God, is this what it's like to be, like, good at something?" And just, like, smashing people out of the way.
What there's the new app that is kind of the streamlined version. Have you tried that? I don't even remember
Nah.
what it is.
No, and it opens up all over my Twitter feed because I guess, like, people are like, they're now, like, pack or card chasing in there, I guess, so that ends
Okay.
up all over my feed, and I'm like, "I don't need another thing to get addicted to," like, I'm good, like, because right now I'm playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, and, like, it's free 99, but, like, it's a lot of my time, and I'm just like, "Oh, I have, like, 10 minutes to spare. I could probably get a match in real fast."
Yeah. Villain keeps trying to get me into Rivals.
Dude, every time I go on, he's on. And I'm just
Yeah,
like, "Bro, like, it's like 8 PM my time, which means it's like 2 AM your time." I was like, "You should probably get some sleep."
yeah. I'm just not a video game person. I guess,
Mm,
like, let me amend that. I'm not a video game person that's not necessarily a turn-based. Like,
okay.
Slay the Spire, any of those roguelikes, Balatro, like, I love those because I don't have to be fast
Yeah.
and being fast is just not where I thrive.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I hadn't played first, well, it's not even a first person shooter, but a shooter game I haven't played in a long while. And then I got, with Marvel Rivals, like chat was like, "You're gonna play it, you're gonna play it." I was like, "Ugh, fine, whatever." And then I played it. And I was like, "Damn you, chat! Every time I get addicted to something."
Yeah.
But it took me like a while to like people were just like killing me nonstop. I was like, okay, like I just need to like get back into the mindset. Remember when I was a small child and I played violent video games and I probably shouldn't have been allowed to, but that's fine. Like
Yeah.
I was like, so, but so I grew up always a video game person. Were you ever a video game guy and like grew out of it, or you just never really into them?
I was I was never really into them. I played them
Okay,
socially, kind of at parties, right?
sure.
Like GoldenEye, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
Ghost
yeah,
Recon thing, all of that good stuff. That was fun. I played a decent bit of Super Smash Brothers non-competitively.
yeah. Okay.
Um, and
Smash was
then
always
I'm trying to
fun.
Smash
Smash
is
was
fun.
good. Yeah,
Smash is really fun. My brother and cousins are deep into, like,
mm,
Melee, like, where they're,
yeah.
restoring old controllers to play Melee and stuff, and they host tournaments and stuff. It's a whole thing. So
Yeah.
they lug CRT TVs around with
Yeah.
them, and so, like, whenever they come, they're gonna come visit for New Year's, and they will bring a CRT, we'll set it up in the basement, and then that's what they'll do until 4 a.m. So, um, but I'm trying to think, I didn't really ever do any video games too deeply. Um,
Smart. It's probably why you're successful in life. They waste a
I
lot of time.
the one that I've been into recently, like I've played the heck out of Slay the Spire.
Okay,
I'm a huge Slay the Spire fan. I've picked up Balatro recently,
that's fun
Monster
too.
Train.
Yeah, Blanche is good.
Yeah. Balatro is really good. I enjoy Balatro since they put out the iOS app. I've been doing more because I do a lot of my gaming on my iPad.
Okay.
Um, Monster Train is good.
Mm,
It's kind of like the one if I want to think about something. Monster Train
that's what it
actually
is.
requires me to think a little bit more. But I'm really excited for Slay the Spire 2. Uh, I've
I
done a
didn't know they were
lot of
coming out with a second one. Jeez.
yeah. So they announced Slay the Spire 2. I think it's 26, maybe
Okay,
25. But they're just kind of revamping. It looks very similar to the first, just slightly different strategies
sure.
and all of that. But yeah, I put I
Sometime.
don't know, 800 hours or so into Slay the Spire, so it's
That's
just like
fair.
it's my mindless thing. One of my if I've had a busy day or whatever, I'll go throw on something I've seen before and then play Slay the Spire where it's like I'll set it so that there's only one path, so I don't even have to, like, choose my path and just just, like, click on the next one and play cards.
There you go. Now, did you get into Slay the Spire the board game or no?
I didn't. I've heard
Okay.
really good things about Slay the Spire, the
Yeah.
board game, but I have not tried it yet. I actually, when in one of my old YouTube channels, which I had like a board game YouTube channel, I had a reasons why I'm not backing Slay the Spire, the board
Okay.
game video, which was kind of funny because I kind of predicted that it was going to be more of the same. It's like if I'm going to play Slay the Spire, why not just play
Yeah.
the video game? And I think the benefit for the board game is that you can play it multiplayer,
That's what I
and
hear. Yeah.
that would be my reasoning to go and dive into the board game. But dude, I have 50 unopened games, and so I've really tried not to accumulate new games.
Mhm.
Like it's just like this year because I'm like I don't play the games I have, and so yeah. How about you? Did you play it?
The board game, no. No.
Yeah.
And I felt exactly the same. It's like I have the Steam version, like I'll just play that. Like it makes sense. I feel the same way with Gloomhaven. Like I know people love Gloomhaven, but like I think it's just the system works better as a video game. Like it's just there's
Mm,
so much setup time. And like you can make the same argument with like Age of Civilization too, right? Like it just works better on app because there's just so much other stuff you have to do. And I get the
yeah.
benefits of like getting off your screen. I get it. But it's a lot of time. I don't have that much time anymore, dude. Like, it's just, I got things to
I've
do.
heard I've heard really good things about the Gloomhaven app. I've never tried it, but I've heard
It's
that
good.
it's fantastic. Yeah.
My buddy and I played it way back when we used to play it on stream when I was streaming to nobody. So, like, who cared what I did, right? And we did that. And It was good. It was really, really fun. Um, and it was just like I mean, it was basically the game. Like it just you didn't set it up, so it was cool. And it was voice acted well, I think too. I think it was pretty well done. I don't know, I haven't touched it in like a year, so I've
Yeah.
got other games to play.
Dude, the setup and teardown in Gloomhaven is the worst part about Gloomhaven. It would take the same amount of time to play. It was
Yeah.
just like,
When
oof.
my buddy got Gloomhaven, he would have to we would set it up while like so we would play with our wives. So our wives would be like doing whatever, like socializing. We'd be like, okay, we have to set up it like this, whatever, whatever. Then we do that, and then we could play for a while. And it's like, okay, you guys go do something else while we set up the next like scenario because
Yep.
like there was a lot like to do with it. And it was just like, okay, no, wait, first we have to run to town. And like again, if you had like a regular D&D group, and I think like they knew what it was kind of gonna be getting into it, then that's fine. But like if you're thinking board game, I don't think like this to me that isn't quite like a board game. It's more like a D&D session type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done any D&D? Are you a RPG player?
We did. That's how we got into quote unquote the modern board game. Like I've always played board games since I was a kid, but like Life, Monopoly, those type of things. And 2014, 15, somewhere around there, my old high school friend and I started hanging out again because he was in a different part of the country. I was in a different part of the country. Then we moved closer, and then I was dating novels at the time, and he was getting married soon. So we're like, oh, the four of us can hang out. And he's like, how do you feel about Dungeons and Dragons? And I'm like, well, none of us have done it, so good, I guess. I don't know. So
Yeah.
we dove into it and loved it. Absolutely loved it. We did it nonstop. Well, not nonstop. We did it a lot, and then we started having children, and then the children just ruin it. You can't really role play well when there's children around.
Yeah. Nice.
So, so yeah, we were very into it. I would like to get back into it. Like I know you and I have talked way long time ago about like a group of us doing it online. And I still like the idea. I still think it'd be a good idea. I just understand I'm the squeaky wheel because my schedule's always messed up and things pop up and whatever. But it's just like it's still like a good idea. So one day.
Yeah. I haven't played an RPG in a hot second. I used to play
Mm.
a lot. I had a group at work before I left my last job where at, right after I almost said school, right after work, we go grab dinner and then we commandeer a conference room and play D&D until like
Yeah.
10 p.m. at night. Um, During the COVID era, we went and we took over the auditorium,
Mhm.
and so we were able to space out in the
Okay.
auditorium. The DEM had an overhead camera that would project onto the projector, and then we all had laser pointers, and we'd say
That's
where we
so
wanted to move.
cool.
And so, no, that was a good time. But we I just backed the Stormlight RPG from Brotherwise
Oh
Games.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a pretty big Sanderson fan, and so I have a group that I think we're gonna try and do some virtual Stormlight RPG whenever that comes out next year, and so I'm really looking forward to that.
That'll be
Um,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, so
Did you back the card game?
I didn't.
Mm. Have you played it
I've
at all?
the deck builder.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I didn't. I heard that it was pretty good.
but
It's
just
just kind
not.
of like
Yeah,
just one of those things. Again, I have so many games at this point, and it's just like it really has to stand out to me, or I have to have a plan to play it like the Stormlight
yeah.
to shell out money. Especially now that I don't have a corporate job, it's harder to spend money on stuff.
That does make it harder for sure. No, I agree because like people are like, oh, you can get, and it's like I like the idea. Like I'm not a big Sanderson fan, but I like Mistborn. I think the novel series was fine, uh, and I like the idea of it. And everyone says it's good, but like, bro, I have a lot of deck builders, so like you have to stand out from those deck builders. And until then, like I'm gonna wait until the hype dies down because there's so many games. Like I was talking about this with novels the other day, like. A year or two ago, like X amount of games would be like hyped like beyond belief, and like you just don't hear them anymore, right? Like it's just
Mhm.
like I mean, like terraforming Mars was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and don't get me wrong, like the game just fine, but you never hear about it. Like yeah, people. I think there's still expansions coming out for it. When I went to PAX, like they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Prelude 2 is out," and I was like, "There is?" Like I didn't know that. So it's it's crazy how like games just kind of like ebb and flow like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
and Terraforming Mars had the greatest artwork of all time. That
Oh
dog
yeah.
was one of the
100%.
It's so ridiculous. I loved it.
So they actually have Terraforming Mars novels. which
Do you
are I don't know if they're like, excellent books, but they're fun reads.
Yeah.
The one of them trying to remember because I read 2 of them. I don't know if there's more of them at this point, but I read 2 of them. But they all kind of, like, revolve around different, like, event cards and stuff, like Almost
Okay.
Down, where, like, they crash the moon into Mars in order to raise the temperature, like, that's kind of the theming of the card, and then the
Yeah.
flavor text on the card is, "We didn't need that moon anyways," which I think is just hilarious. But, uh, but, like, that's one of the books is, like, kind of like the considerations of that and, like, talking through it. They're really short, easy reads, but I'm like, "Okay, that was a lot of
That's
fun to
fun.
experience." Yeah. I was like so I hope that we see more novelizations of board games because I think that's a really I would love a Spirit Island book, like, I would read the heck out of something like that. That I just yeah.
Chip Theory Games did it with Cloudspire. Like they have novels for Cloudspire. And I mean you have to like really like Cloudspire to like get it. And like some of it's like other stuff too, but like there's story and there's lore. Like they hired a writer just for lore, right? I think I think they did it for Burn Cycle too, but I can't remember now because I haven't opened up the game in a while. But regardless, they do it with certain books. But I agree. Like I think if you want to be a world builder game and like build a whole thing around it, then like build the world, right? Like
Yeah,
show us the story. I think that that's awesome.
yeah. They should make a book out of Final Girl. Wait, hold on.
I think they have.
Wait, yeah, wait, never mind, scratch that. No. But
I
yeah.
remember well, so I have all like the little books and whatever that like gruesome deaths and all that stuff, and I have yet to like read it. Like I bought them all, and I was like, I should probably look at these. I just haven't yet because I'm just so frustrated with dying.
Yeah. There's also there are Arkham books as well that came
Mhm.
with, like,
Cards,
promo cards. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Interesting. I've not looked at into I don't have any of them. I know that I did some research on them for the buyer's guide that I put out, but, like, other than that, like, do you have any of those?
I don't have the books, but I have the cards because you
Okay.
remember that really weird time where Game Center was like publishing stuff and printing stuff, but we don't know if they were really allowed to. And they kept finding things, and we don't know what they
Yep,
were really doing back there, right?
yep.
So one of the things that they found slash printed slash whatever was the book promo. So they put them all in a pack. So it
Mm.
was like
Oh, cool.
$7 or $8, and you got all the card promos. And I was like,
Nice.
okay, that's better because each book was like $20. And like some of the book sales on eBay were just like missing the cards. And it's like, I don't want the book. Like, I want the cards.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But some of the investigators you got, actually, it might have been all of them, were like completely unique. Like, they weren't like you could get them somewhere else. Like, you had to get them through the book, I
Yeah.
think. Which is like a good idea and a bad idea because like some of those books like aren't in print anymore. So, like, oh well, you know, getting Captain America, Doctor Strange tier, where like I guess you'll just never get it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Did you play Hemlock Vale?
I did, I did. I liked it more. Well, let me first say this because you and I went through Edge of the Earth together. I like everything better than that. So it was better
Yeah,
than
no,
that for
I
sure.
do suck to play with. I understand that.
um, and Scarlet Keys, I didn't love. I didn't hate it as much as Edge of the Earth, but I didn't love it because I kept picking the wrong days. So
Yeah.
like I was going to a place and they're like, well, you really shouldn't be here yet. And I was like, I didn't know that. Like, and they're like, well, now you can't come back and you should have before, and now your story's ruined. It's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But Hemlock Vale was better in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like Scarlet Keys is a good campaign
Hmm.
that is terrible for streaming. It just
Oh
did
yeah,
not work on stream. I remember I think there was one stream where I was like an hour and 40 minutes into it before I put cards onto the table. I was
yeah,
just reading. And
yeah.
it's like if you're in it, which I think a lot of people are in Arkham for the story, like it works out just so well for that. It's so immersive and everything. And like I really like the branching decision trees that you can make. Hemlock Vale I played too. I was being punished more than Forgotten Age in Hemlock Vale,
Mm.
so I packed it up. Um, I think I'm gonna try doing recorded
Oh, that's
Arkham
smart. Yeah,
because I thought it was gonna do super well on streaming, but what I kind of realized is that when you get to like game 6 or 7, the audience just isn't there.
yeah, yeah,
Because, like, if you're not watching game 1, if you miss game 2, maybe you're not gonna watch game 3.
yeah.
And so, it felt like a lot of effort for kind of the payoff in terms of metrics, And so I think I'm gonna try it as a recorded series, which makes them much shorter. Streaming just takes a long time, right?
Yeah.
And then I can kind of enjoy the story a little bit more, and hopefully the audience does too. But I think I'm gonna start with Hemlock Dale because I need to break that one back out because I like the idea of it. I
Yeah.
just got absolutely stomped on. I was like, "This is I'm just dying. Like this
Yeah.
is dumb." Like,
I had someone in chat that's much better at Arkham just build the decks for me and
oh,
do it
nice.
like do it for me. And even then, I wasn't doing great. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I was just making poor decisions because I didn't know anything yet. I actually think your record idea is brilliant because it allows you to read, like sit there and just read, right? And
Mhm.
then you can walk away and go do
Right.
something with your life instead of being exhausted from reading an hour and a half story. And then you can come back and play the game or whatever. I think that's smart. That's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like when I am streaming, I do like a game every week.
Mhm.
And then I've played Champions, I've played Spirit Island, I've played other games off stream and just like coming back into it, it's hard to like remember
Yeah.
where it's at. And so I think I'm just gonna try and set aside like, a weekend or whatever of table space
Knock the whole
to
thing
just
out.
put it on. And then I don't have to clean it up. I don't have to
Yeah.
like do any of that and just kind of record, have fun with it, enjoy it for what it is. Cause like I think like, my favorite Arkham games I've ever played are the ones that I didn't stream. Not saying that
Mm,
I didn't like streaming, it's just, like, a lot,
it is a
because I
lot.
also play it two-handed, and so that's also brain burning, and then you
Yeah.
have stream, and, like, you're very well aware how much mental energy streaming takes to make sure it's like, "Okay, am I connected? Is everything going correctly?" And so it's just, like, a lot to keep track of, and I feel like all of that combined was taking me out of enjoying, like, the immersion that
Mhm.
Arkham provides, and so I'm like, "Okay," like, so I'm getting more excited about the prospect of getting back into Arkham,
Yeah.
being able to focus on Arkham.
Nah, it's funny too, because like until you get into the streaming space, you just don't get it. Cause like I Novels was with me and we're talking, and she's talking, and then finally I went, "You can stop now." And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, OBS crashed. I'm waiting for it to reboot." Like, she's like, "What? When did it crash?" I was like, "Well, just now. I just stopped you." She's like, "How'd you know?" I was like, "Well, I see the error because I know where to look, like when an error is gonna pop up." She's like, "Oh my god." So she's like, "You just sit here?" I was like, "Yep, you just sit here." And she's like, "And then you come back with the same energy?" I was like, "We're gonna try. See what happens."
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into making sure that the stream is up and running and working
Mm.
correctly, and the stream keys are the
Oh my
correct
god.
ones,
Yeah.
the counters are it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Uh,
Well, in that end, so I think last time I saw you still have Restream up, right, with the connected
mhm.
chats. So I can't get my Restream to work at all. Does not work for me. It Daring Lime helped me out. I got it connected once, and after that, they updated something, and then like I just can't do it. I can't figure it out, and it keeps trying to connect to a stream, like whatever was streamed 3 times ago is trying to connect to that. And when I force it to try to like go to the new one, it crashes. And I was like, okay, I need to now spend time to figure out an alternative. You know what happens when you just Google, hey, two chats in one like box on screen is that people go, you should try Restream. And that's all that comes up. I spent There was some dude on YouTube had 86 subs, like 4 views, and he had this video for this other program and whatever it's called, I don't remember. And he's like, it works really well and whatever. And like his whole setup was so bad. And I commented, I was like, thank you, dude. I was like, I've been looking for this for so long. I was like, I
Nice.
hope you get monetized soon and you can finally reap the benefits. Because I was like, holy cow. And then finally I have a new system, and it's not as good as Restream because Restream was nice where like in Twitch chat, when you send something, it shows up in YouTube chat and vice
Yeah.
versa. Like this won't do that. So you have to read on screen. So it does segregate my audience a little bit, which is sad. But what I've learned is a lot of my chat will just have both of them open. So it inflates the numbers, makes me look
Nice.
really good.
Nice. That's
Everyone
awesome.
thinks I'm a monster streamer. I'm really not. It's just divide the number in half, and that's more accurate.
Yeah. It's my iPad, my phone, my
Just
computer.
everything. Just everything. Why not, right? Well, that's for Marvel Rivals, you had to watch an X amount of time of a Twitch streamer playing the game. So I would play the game and open up my Twitch page and just watch myself. So I got all like the free stuff.
Nice. That's funny. Yeah, for the restream, I had to disconnect and reconnect because
Yeah.
my chats weren't showing up like they were. I think it was only showing Twitch. It just like wasn't
Yeah.
pulling YouTube or something like that. And I went in to try and check to make sure that the website URL like thing in OBS was correct and they had switched it or something. And so I don't quite remember what I did, but yeah, it's just more headaches, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
why can't it just work?
I know, absolutely. It's when people are like, "Oh, like it's the hardest part of content creation, like coming up with ideas." It's like, bro, I have a book that has about 3 pages worth of ideas. The hardest part is getting all this stuff to work
Yep,
constantly.
yep,
Like it's just
yep.
falling apart. Like everything's falling apart constantly.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's but it's fun.
It
It's
is
it's
fun.
it's it's exciting when it does work.
It is. Like chat's like, "You're here," and I'm like, "I know, it's crazy. I didn't expect to be
I am
either."
here.
All right, so I know we have a hard cutoff soon because I do have to go to a corporate meeting. But now that we got like
Ooh.
5 minutes left, we should probably talk about Marvel Champions
Oh
for a
yeah,
second.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So for those that don't know, we kind of came up together Marvel Champions because I've had people ask like, who came first, Nelson or you? I was like, well, I think Nelson technically did by like a video or two, and he's like, hey, you want to hang out on Wednesdays and play a game? And I was like, yeah, I have a crazy bad setup. Let's do it. So, and for those that don't know, there is a hidden archive of Nelson and I playing the game. It's very hard to find. I tried finding it the other day and I forgot what it was and I couldn't find it, but that's all right. But
On
okay.
my old YouTube channel. My old,
Yeah,
old YouTube channel.
I know, and I remember the logo, but I don't remember the words. So like I was like trying to. Oh, it was a whole big mess. Anyway, all right. So we're getting close to post Caleb Grace time, and
Mm.
I want your hot spicy takes on this that you may already have thought about. So they're not so hot and not so spicy, but that's fine. What are you excited for Marvel Champions moving forward? What are you worried, but you don't have to use the word worried if that's too strong, or
Sure.
like apprehensive about or whatever moving forward, good and bad.
Yeah. I would say that I'm probably most excited for, um just like they have been expanding the team. I think that
Mhm,
everything that we have seen from Tony has just been absolutely phenomenal, right? I think uh, Mojo is probably still my favorite like pack of Marvel champions
mhm,
out there from like a average enjoyment standpoint. And I think Tony being lead and just like what he has for the game, both in like a lore standpoint as well as just an understanding of the mechanics and card games and game
mhm.
design. I think Tony is just a phenomenal person to be taking the helm here. And then also just the expansion of the team, right? So
Yeah,
I was a
yeah.
little concerned with, the announcement of Caleb leaving that, okay, are we kind of in this sunset era of champions? Are they going to be kind of focusing more on SWU? Are they gonna be looking at other games to kind of promote? And it doesn't sound like they are. It sounds like, they know what they have with Champions. They know that, the community is there. They're
Mhm.
really looking forward to that. And so I'm excited to see continued investment in Marvel Champions. I'm excited to see, Tony and the team and what they do for the game, just because I've really liked what Tony has done in terms of his designs. Um, I also am really excited to see what Caleb's final swan song is going to be. I'm assuming
Gotta
that
be
that is
Fantastic Four.
it's got to be Fantastic
Yeah.
Four.
You don't say he's gonna have
Um,
a fantastic whatever or something like that, like, you don't say that.
passing the torch, all of that good
Yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Um, but I'm also it did say that he's gonna go work on something else. And so now I'm kind of really curious what that is.
Yeah.
And my tinfoil conspiracy theory here is that he's kind of gonna be finishing what MJ was working on. Because MJ left the Arkham design team to work
Mhm.
on some hidden project that I don't think has been revealed
I
at
don't
this
think so
point.
either. Yeah.
And then MJ left and is now working with the Earthborn Rangers team. And we didn't ever hear what they were working on. And so I'm wondering if Caleb is kind of picking up and, carrying whatever that project is across the finish line. And
That'd
if
be
that
interesting.
is that would I like anything that MJ and Caleb
Yeah.
work on, I'm buying, right? Like it's
100%.
just
Yeah.
straight up, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm hoping that it's some sort of co-op LCG since Caleb and MJ were both working on it. That be kind of weird if it wasn't. And
Yeah.
so I'm just
Yeah.
kinda like they have so many IPs that they can dive into. I think my biggest hope, if I could write a blank check, would be a solo co-op mode for Unlimited. Would like we've seen that with Lorcana with Ursula's Return,
Yeah.
and I think at this point it would make a lot more business sense for FFG to create a co-op add-on to Unlimited rather than developing an entirely new system. and so I could see that being it. That would be if that is the case, I don't have money left.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm done, I'm done.
I've already bought into SWU. Like I love it. I think it's a phenomenal game. And if they did that, forget about it. You know?
Yeah, GG. Uh, so
It,
I'm just excited to see where that goes and what happens with what he's working on.
yeah, I I think with the so because I know like the idea has been floated like oh Star Wars LCG and a part of me was like oh I could see that because they've been doing like the Star Wars deck builder game right they did two
Mhm.
now iterations of it and I was like oh, maybe it's like practice right for like the real thing but I could see it being like you said into the SWU because obviously SWU has to be printing money for Fantasy Flight games right
Oh,
now
yeah, it
like
is.
exactly so with that it makes the sense to like put as much effort into it as possible like because TCGs can just die. Like, right? We all know it's like just they randomly up and go. And I think if you're making a lot of money right now, you should cash in on that cow and Caleb work on that be good. But I'm all for a secret MJ project as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. But like I could have seen the timeline works out that MJ being pulled off or leaving Arkham
mhm.
could still have been SWU,
Yeah,
right? They've been developing SWU for like
for a
5
long
years.
time.
And so
Yeah.
I I also think that they just have I think SWU has a lot of staying power. I think
Yeah.
Destiny was probably going to fail even if COVID didn't
Hmm.
happen, mainly because I think packaging, manufacturing, and the logistics of dice and cards is just so much
It's a
different than
lot.
just cards.
Yeah.
Just cards. The game was awesome. It was a really cool game, but
Mhm.
money is what it
Money
is.
is money. Yeah.
And so like that's my hope. But I think the thing that I'm most hesitant about, or the most concerned about going forward. It's a good question. I will say I think my answer probably a year and a half, 2 years ago would have been like, are they just gonna run out of mechanics? But I think
Yeah.
the last year they've kind of proven me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay,
They're
they're just
good.
better at this than me. Which is why I'm sitting here and not in Minnesota. But so and also with Tony, like again, he's the mechanic king. He just knows what he's doing. Potentially just the less amount of A-list characters that they have
Yeah.
in their repertoire, I
That makes
think
sense.
could be the biggest concern for me. And where not necessarily what I feel about that, but where the sales numbers are gonna go with that, and is that
Yes.
gonna lead to a sunset era for champions, right? Because if we've kind of already seen it with Shield, right? Shield didn't have an overly whelming
Hmm.
positive response from the community, even though I think mechanically it looks like one of the most interesting boxes out there.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of player that is more interested in the mechanics. Honestly, you could
Same.
print whatever hero and it's
Yep.
like, "Oh,
Same.
cool." I got into Marvel through this game, not the other way around. And so so, like, I'm just kinda here for the gameplay. And but I know that I'm probably in the minority when it comes to that. And so when you're looking at characters that are not as well known, I think there are those consumers out there that are going to buy a box because it is Captain America.
Yeah.
It is Star-Lord. They like those characters and that's what is driving the purchasing decision rather than this is a cool mechanic, so I'm going to buy Maria Hill.
Yeah.
I don't know how many like Maria Hill fans there are out there.
There's
I'm
so
sure there
many.
are, but
There's so many.
it's just so much less than
Yeah,
Hulk, right?
I agree.
And so I think that doesn't bother me necessarily from a design perspective, but from a if we see a 30% reduction in or if I keep saying we as if like I'm part of FFG.
We have
If FF
stakeholders, yeah.
we yeah, if FFG sees a decrease in purchasing, is that going to lead them into making decisions
Yeah,
that make
I
us
agree.
very sad?
I agree.
And I think that's probably the biggest issue. I would not be opposed for them reprinting heroes in
Yeah.
the terms of like we saw it in set 2 of Star Wars, right? Like there's
Yeah.
another Han Solo. And so you can just take Peter Parker and create a whole nother Spider-Man deck that is Web Warrior themed, and you have the, you know,
Yep.
name behind Spider-Man, and you can sell that. I think that's probably where I would go, especially if I start to see some decrease in sales from like a business standpoint. Is I would just like here's Hulk in his
Well, like Red
I don't know.
Hulk or whatever, right?
Yeah,
One of them, yeah. I think, and
yeah,
you could, if you really wanted to, like Captain America, just have like a different like timeline of Captain America, essentially,
exactly.
right? So
Yeah,
yeah, I like that. I think it's a smart business decision. I think they should do that if they start running out of ideas.
yeah. I don't think that they will ever run out of ideas.
No,
I
yeah,
think that it's going to
sales
have to be
driven.
a decision. It's gonna be a sales driven decision where
Yeah,
they can take mechanics that they already have and put them over into names that are gonna sell a little bit better.
yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, dude. I appreciate being here. I gotta actually do work now, but
Ooh, ooh,
I
work.
know. Well, we'll have to do this
Think
again sometime, though. Maybe next time we'll talk about board games since we didn't really talk.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah. All right, dude. I
Good hanging out.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, see ya.